Today, we're diving into a powerful topic: how to act smart women who play games. If you clicked on this video, there's a good chance you felt it, that sting of uncertainty. You opened your heart, maybe cautiously, maybe fully. And for a moment, everything felt real. But then, something shifted. The warmth cooled, the attention faded, and you found yourself caught in a silent storm of mixed signals, second-guessing everything you once thought was mutual. It's frustrating, it's confusing, but more than that, it's deeply human. You see, this isn't just about her behavior, it's about your clarity, your peace, your decision to no longer participate in emotional chaos disguised as love. And that's what today is really about. Not just how to outsmart someone playing games, but how to rise above the noise and reclaim your dignity through presence, awareness, and quiet strength. If you're tired of the guessing, the chasing, the emotional tug-of-war, if you're ready to find not just love, but something honest, grounded, and game-free, then stay with me. You're not alone. Welcome to Stoic Station, where we don't chase clarity, we become it. Give this video a like if it resonates with where you are, and subscribe to join a space where emotional strength meets timeless wisdom. Now let's take the first step toward understanding, because before you can outgrow the games, you need to understand why they're happening in the first place. It's easy to label her behavior as manipulative, but what if it's actually fear wearing a clever disguise? For many women, playing games isn't about being cruel. It's about protection. They've been hurt before, left vulnerable by men who promised more than they gave. So now they test. They create tension. They withhold affection. Not because they don't feel anything, but because they feel too much. And they're scared. Scared that if they open up too quickly, they'll fall for someone who isn't truly invested. So they create obstacles, not to sabotage connection, but to reveal who you are when things get uncomfortable. Some of these patterns are unconscious. She may not even realize she's sending mixed signals, warm one moment, distant the next. She might flirt, pull away, compare you to her past, and not understand that she's building walls instead of bridges. Her behavior often isn't a reflection of how she sees you. It's a mirror of how she sees herself. Confused, uncertain, unresolved. And if you're a man in your late 30s or early 40s, you've likely seen this before. You've been through the emotional highs of early connection, only to be met with silence, inconsistency, or passive tests that leave you questioning your worth. But let this truth settle in your heart. Her games are not your responsibility to fix. You are not here to rescue her from her insecurities. You are here to protect your peace, your clarity, your emotional integrity. You don't need to decode her behavior or walk on eggshells just to maintain the spark. The real question is, how much of your time, energy, and self-respect are you willing to invest in someone who isn't showing up fully? That's the turning point, because the moment you recognize that you don't need to play, you begin to reclaim your power. You stop reacting and start observing. You stop chasing confusion and start honoring your truth. And from this place of calm strength, you become a man who doesn't just survive games, you rise above them. And that's what we'll explore next. 4 clear, powerful ways to respond when a woman starts playing games with your heart. Not with manipulation, but with maturity. Not with force, but with quiet confidence. Let's begin. 1. Recognize the signs that she's playing games. Game playing rarely shows up as chaos. It creeps in quietly, dressed in subtle shifts and emotional inconsistencies. It's not the loud arguments or dramatic exits that wear you down. It's the silence after the closeness, the sudden coldness after warmth, the way her affection feels like a faucet, turned on and off at will. One day she's lighting up your phone with messages, laughing at every joke, pulling you in with warmth and connection. The next, she disappears without explanation. When you're together, she might praise your depth, your presence, but only behind closed doors. In public, she keeps you at arm's length, as if the world isn't supposed to see. She may even casually mention other men, not because she's sharing, but because she's watching how you respond, watching what you reveal, watching if you'll compete. These aren't random behaviors, they're emotional tests. And though they may not come from a place of cruelty, they do create instability, and that instability can slowly chip away at your peace if you're not paying attention. But this is where your maturity comes in. Don't rush to react. Observe. Step back emotionally and study the pattern, not just the moment. If your gut tells you something isn't right, honor that feeling. It's not paranoia. It's wisdom earned from years of experience. Write it down if you need to. The mind can forget, especially when the heart wants to forgive. But clarity often arrives not when we confront someone, but when we confront ourselves. Because the moment you recognize the game, you're no longer caught in it. You're standing above it, with your boundaries intact and your dignity preserved. The two, don't react emotionally. Don't take the bait. There's a certain kind of silence that speaks louder than words. And when a woman plays emotional games, what she's often searching for isn't control, it's certainty. She wants to know if she still has an effect on you, if she can still stir something inside of you, not always because she means harm, but because she's unsure of her own value, her own place in your world, and so she tests. But you're not the man you used to be. You've lived long enough to know that reacting emotionally, chasing validation, or trying to prove your worth only traps you in a cycle that steals your peace and distorts your power. So when she withdraws, you don't chase after the fading warmth. When she flirts with confusion, you don't engage in a tug-of-war for her attention. When she pokes at your emotions just to see if you'll flinch, you remain grounded, because you've realized that composure is power. You choose stillness over reaction, presence over panic. You breathe through the discomfort. You pause long enough to remind yourself, her confusion is not your cue to abandon your dignity. Your self-worth is not up for negotiation, and your emotional stability isn't something you hand over just because someone else is unsure of how to handle their own. This doesn't mean you're indifferent, it means you've learned discernment. You know when to lean in and when to lean back. When a woman sees that her games no longer get the rise they once did, she is faced with a choice: evolve or exit. And whichever path she chooses is a reflection of her growth, not your responsibility. Because the man who stays calm when others try to provoke him is a rare force. He becomes a mirror. And in that mirror, she will either recognize the games she's playing and meet you with honesty, or she'll walk away, unable to face her own reflection. Either way, you stay whole. Either way, you win. 3. Communicate clearly and honestly. Emotional games thrive in ambiguity. They live in the spaces where assumptions replace conversations, where silence is used as leverage, and where guessing becomes a daily habit. But there's one thing games can't survive: clarity. Because clarity is the light that exposes confusion for what it is, a distraction from truth. So when you find yourself caught in that emotional fog, don't meet it with anger or withdrawal. Don't match her games with silence of your own. Instead, rise above the noise and choose what most people are too afraid to do. Communicate, not with accusations, not with defensiveness, but with calm strength. You say, "I've noticed some shifts in how we're connecting lately. I'm not here to judge or assume, but I do value honesty. Can we talk about it?" That simple invitation doesn't just open a door, it sets a tone. It tells her, and more importantly yourself, that you no longer participate in relationships where confusion is the norm. That you're not here to decode mixed signals or pretend everything's fine. You're here for something real. This kind of communication isn't a sign of weakness. It's leadership. It shows emotional maturity, not emotional fragility. And when you speak calmly, without raising your voice or needing to dominate the moment, you're showing her that your sense of self isn't dependent on how the conversation goes. You're grounded, not grasping. Even if she doesn't have clear answers, even if she deflects or hesitates, your willingness to bring clarity already shifts the energy. It changes the game, because it silently announces that you will not carry the weight of a relationship alone. You will not invest in what cannot be named. In a world full of emotional performance, being real is a revolution. And real connection always begins with honest words. Let them come from you first. 4. Set and protect your boundaries. Boundaries aren't about building walls to keep people out. They're about drawing lines that protect what's sacred within. Your peace, your values, your emotional stability, these are not negotiable. And the moment you begin treating them as such, the world around you starts doing the same. In relationships, especially with someone who plays with emotions, boundaries are your lifeline. They're not meant to control her. They're meant to keep you from losing yourself. Because the truth is, a woman who constantly sends mixed signals, who thrives on unpredictability or emotional tug-of-war, is telling you something. She's telling you what kind of connection she's capable of, and more importantly, what she's not. Your job is to listen. When you set a boundary, you're not demanding anything. You're simply stating the conditions under which your heart remains open. You might say, "I'm looking for something consistent, honest, and grounded. I don't have space for confusion, emotional games, or push-pull dynamics. If that's where this is heading, I'll step away with respect." And then you hold that line, not as a threat, but as a truth you live by. You don't chase after clarity. You don't plead for change. You observe. You speak your truth once, calmly and directly. And if the pattern continues, you walk, not in bitterness, not in rage, but in quiet self-respect. Because walking away isn't giving up. It's choosing yourself when someone else refuses to. It's declaring that your emotional safety is no longer up for sacrifice just to feel wanted. At this stage in your life, peace is no longer a luxury, it's the standard. And any connection that costs you that peace isn't love. It's a distraction. Set your boundary not to keep people out, but to see who's willing to meet you where you are, without games, without masks. Just real, steady presence. That's the foundation of anything worth building. Summary. Final message. You don't win by playing their game. You win by refusing to play. The moment you try to beat someone at their own game, you've already stepped into their arena, and that's not where your strength lives. You weren't made to manipulate or outmaneuver. You were made to evolve, to rise above, to walk away from the noise with your integrity intact. This isn't about proving your worth to her. It's about remembering it for yourself. It's about recognizing when the energy you're giving isn't being met, and having the self-respect to stop giving it. Because the man you are now doesn't settle for inconsistency, confusion, or emotional chaos. He protects his peace. He honors his growth. Let your calm become your boundary. Let your silence speak louder than reaction. Let your steady presence become a mirror, reflecting clarity, not confusion. And most importantly, stop chasing people who make you question yourself. Start pursuing the version of you who no longer seeks validation, but lives from a place of deep inner truth. That's not a game, that's transformation. And that's how you truly win. If you're in a relationship where you constantly feel overlooked, disrespected, or emotionally drained, take a moment to pause. That's not love. It's a signal to reevaluate where you stand and what you're accepting. You were not made to chase clarity or beg for basic respect. You deserve someone who sees your worth without the games, who meets you with presence, not pretense. The right connection won't require performance. It won't keep you guessing. It will feel calm, steady, and safe. Real love isn't about strategy. It's about showing up as you are and being received fully. And if you're still searching for that kind of peace, don't settle for anything that steals it. Your strength lies in your silence, your standards, and your self-respect. If this message resonated with you, subscribe to Stoic Station for more grounded and honest relationship wisdom. Drop a comment below and share your story. Your voice might be the reminder someone else needs today. Until next time, hold your boundaries close, protect your peace, and never forget, you were never meant to play games. You were meant to rise above them.